Welcome to today's The Best Kept Secrets in Healthcare podcast. And so today's secret is actually about Upper Cervical Chiropractic Care, which is actually where the name actually started with my book, The Best Kept Secret in Healthcare. It is the number one best kept secret. So today we're going to go a little bit more specific into why it is the best kept secret. And today I have a very special guest with me, Dr. Nick Tedar. He's been on both sides of the fence, and so he's practiced a little bit full spine general chiropractic, which is what most people are used to, and then switched over to just doing strictly upper cervical. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Tedar's got one of the busiest practices in the country, down outside of Atlanta, got a very busy family that's active in sports, and so it's been difficult for us to finally get a little time to get together here. So Dr. Tedar, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you being here.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to share some knowledge.
Yeah, so this is going to be fun. We're just going to kind of go back and forth. I've got several things I want to ask you, and it's mostly how you kind of got to where you are, what's changed, how's it been going. So for me, my dad and my stepmom were both chiropractors, so I had the experience of full spine chiropractic growing up. And then I got into chiropractic school. I had some issues, and general chiropractic wasn't really fixing my issues. I wasn't getting any help. And I met a guy that did upper cervical work. He said, "Hey, why don't you come down and check us out sometime?" And actually, at first I was like, why, right? I mean, there's 24 vertebrae, hey, why not do all of them and do those too, right? I didn't understand the specificity, the specialty behind it. So I actually got desperate enough to go down and see this doc, and the first upper cervical adjustment completely changed my life, and that's what led me in this direction. So for you, first of all, how did you even get interested in chiropractic generally? First, that has to be the first line, right? You have to get into chiropractic, and then along the way, you kind of start looking for maybe how can you give more, right? Give your patients the best. Mm-hmm. So how'd you get into it altogether, right?
My journey was a little weird. I discovered chiropractic at 16, and it's kind of a unique story. I was my best friend. We were out one day just doing what 16-year-olds do. We were running around town in the summertime, and his name's David. Dave was like, "Hey, I need to stop for a minute and go to the doctor." And I'm like, "What? No, man, I don't want to go hang out." In my mind, doctors, you're sitting there for 3 hours. I'm not going to sit in the lobby for 3 hours. I'm like, "Take me home." Yeah. He's like, "No, man, it won't take long. I just going to get an adjustment." And I'm like, "Okay." And unbeknownst to me, we ended up in a chiropractic office, and I walk in, and there's people everywhere. Everybody's happy. It's like people are hugging. There's kids everywhere. I'm like, what is this crazy place? And then I hear at the time, in that office, the tables made a lot of noise. It was like clunk, 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 clunk. So anyway, I'm like, what the heck? So I'm walking through the office with David, and he comes back to the adjusting rooms. There's this big 6'3" Italian guy, loud, just pushing on people. My eyes, that's what I saw at the time. He's just pushing on people. They get their adjustments. They come up, they hug them, they leave. I'm like, this is the oddest thing in the world. What is this? And he's like, it's a chiropractor. And I'm like, what is that? I had no idea what that was. And at the time, David was 16. He's like, I don't know. They pop your back and it makes your body healthy. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, we go do our thing. We leave. We go finish the day. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get that out of my head. I was like, that is kind of the weirdest but coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. So it was on my mind for like a week or two. And, 16 years old or whatever, you're kind of getting that stage where like, what do you want to do in your life? And honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I did want to go into healthcare to some degree. I also wanted to own my own business. So anyway, long story short, I called that chiropractor back up and I was like, hey, can I come shadow you? And he's like, yeah, of course. So I went and shadowed the guy, hung out all morning with him, and just fell in love with more of the energy. I still didn't even really understand what I was doing, but it was the first time I've been to a doctor's office where people were actually happy and people were excited to go. And I heard like miracles, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But he also shared with me, what chiropractic really is. He taught me about the nervous system. He taught me about how the body is self-healing and how the body was created to, repair itself. And that's really when I got that message, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I literally, Dr. Drury, I got a job. I paid for my own care and started care there at 16. Somewhere in the next year or two, I ended up paying for my mom and my brother and my dad. And, so they all were getting care and I was freaking paying for it because I just had so much value in the fact that this was amazing.
Yeah.
And I eventually just went to chiropractic school because of that. I was like, I want to come work here. I want to do this. So I went to chiropractic school. And that's how I got into chiropractic, man. That was the story.
That's cool. And so traditionally in chiropractic school, upper cervical isn't really focused on. I mean, some schools offer maybe a little introduction, but not really. You don't really learn enough there to where you could actually come out and practice it. So almost all people who come out of chiropractic school are taught the full spine model, which is what most of them go into practice. And so you went through school, came out, and went out and practiced with someone, right? And doing the full spine chiropractic model, right?
Yeah, I actually graduated and went and worked with that same guy that I was going to before. Yeah.
Okay. And then at some point, you decided that, hey, I want to. What led you to upper cervical? How did you? I mean, why didn't you stay there and continue doing what you were doing?
Right. Yeah. So I think it's one of those things that it's kind of a slippery slope subject there. I got into that practice, and when you get into something, sometimes you don't see the reality until you get in it, right? So even though I was a patient, I had, what I thought was good results, and I didn't really have any health issues going in. I went because I wanted my body to work better. But I was noticing in there, two things actually happened, Dr. Drury. One is that as I started seeing patients, I realized that people really weren't progressing past the adjustment, meaning like they had to come in every week or twice a week to feel better, if you will. Like the body wasn't really getting better, if that makes any sense. The philosophy was there, the art was there, but people weren't getting better. And then concurrently, around my first year in practice, my wife started having really, really super bad migraines to the point where she was going to go on disability as a teacher at 23 years old. And then female issues. Her menstrual cycles were, going 3 months at a time to then absent to then not ovulating. Like she was just having a whole bunch of health issues. So what ended up happening was I was like, well, let's go get adjusted more, And so we were starting to go like 2 and 3 times a day, and she was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I was getting frustrated, man. And then all of a sudden one day, what came across my desk, because you're all right, in chiropractic school, I didn't even know what upper cervical was, to be honest with you. Came across my desk a guy that graduated with me, a chiropractic journal, and he was on the cover, and he was talking about seeing sick people like MS patients, cancer patients, Meniere's. Like he was seeing all these crazy things that I'd never even I'm like, why? So I called him up and I was saying, hey, can you, whatever you do, can you teach this doctor here how to do that so they can maybe help my wife get better? And he's like, no, man, I do upper cervical. It took me, years to master and learn. You can't just go on a phone call and teach another doctor how to do it. So I ended up going to his office and do an exam, taking some pictures, and getting upper cervical care for my wife. Matter of fact, I actually drove about 2 hours one way. He was in Greenville, South Carolina. There was nobody in Atlanta doing it. So I was going twice a week initially, going up there on Monday nights and Saturday mornings to get her checked. And man, within 2 months, I think somewhere around the 4 to 6 week mark, like all the migraines went away. And within like 90 days, I can't remember the exact time, but in that first 4 or 5, 6 months, her menstrual cycle was completely regulated out. And I was like, holy cow. So I went back to school and learned it. And the rest is history.
Yeah, so it seems like most upper cervical doctors have some sort of a story like that, right? It either affected them personally or someone in their family. And, chiropractic was based off of the fact that the body's a self-healing organism. Nerve system controls every function in the body. And as long as the nerve system is working the way it's designed, then we should work the way we're designed, right? Which is not with pain, not with symptoms, not with disease, but actually work the way our body's designed. And I think that, the chiropractic philosophy is 100%, but chiropractic in general has kind of laxed a little bit in that, as long as you keep coming and people feel better as they come, then it's okay. But, I think we see the bigger picture in that you should not be dependent on us to stay well, but come to maintain, just like you go to the dentist every now and then to get checked, that's kind of the ultimate goal, right?
Well, I think the biggest turning point for me is when I figured out there's a one key separation. Traditional chiropractic has gotten in this model of, hey, the adjustments what gets you better, right? Like, so
Right.
in that analogy, it was what my wife did initially. Is like, hey, if the adjustment gets you better, then hey, let's go twice a day. Let's go 3 times a day and just get popped and cracked. And
Mm-hmm.
the epiphany for me, Dr. Drury, was that the adjustment doesn't get you well, because I've been there. We got more adjustments and less health, right? So when I learned the key with upper cervical with that doctor in Greenville, and he said, no, it's not the adjustment that's going to get your wife well. It's like, let's unlock this bone. Let's get it to hold the alignment. Now the body can repair in between. It's like, I was like, what? He says, yeah. It's like, it's not the adjustment. It's getting to hold that adjustment. And then your body has the ability, to repair itself. Because every time it's out of alignment, healing stops.
Right.
And I was like, that was an epiphany to me with upper cervical. Like, that's one of the key things that was like, that makes so much more sense than let's go every week of our life and get our neck and back and legs and feet and everything cracked. And we have to keep going back to kind of maintain some sort of relief. And I think that's really the biggest discord in chiropractic, is that the adjustment is really not really what we're about. It's
The
really
value
about,
isn't in the adjustment. It's in getting the adjustment to stay. And I think that's the biggest difference between what upper cervical does and general chiropractic is we want to adjust you as little as possible. A matter of fact, if you keep coming and we have to keep adjusting you, then we're not doing something right? We got to reevaluate, because if we're not getting ahead of it and getting it to stay long enough for your body to heal, then it's like pushing a rock, a boulder up a hill. We just keep going and keep pushing and we never get over the top. So I think that's huge. And so how did that for you when you experienced that compared to what you were doing? I'm sure the light went off and like, hey, this makes more sense. So what'd you do next? I mean, obviously you made a decision, right?
yeah. So I was like, it was one of those things. It's like, once you know something, you can't not know it, right? So like, when you know truth, you can't not participate. So like, once I got that understanding, I was like, I want more. So I would actually go to that office, and I had that doctor in Greenville. I shadowed under him and mentored under him for a little bit. And then I went back to school and got certified in it, and so and I wanted to actually do it in that practice, that full spine practice. I actually wanted to go back and do it there. And that doctor was totally against it. So, ultimately, once I was learning upper cervical, I had to leave and I would open my own practice. So that's ultimately what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's when you and I actually got together.
That's right.
And I was trying to figure it out. It's probably been almost close to 20 years ago, I guess, right? Since you
Yeah,
when
that
we
was
met.
2008, 2009.
Okay. Yeah. And, so I think the biggest, we all have some sort of epiphany. I think, we go to chiropractic school with the idea that we want to help people. And, what you're taught in school is that it's all about the adjustment. It's all about, a lot of it is even, making people feel better, which is great. But if you're dependent on the adjustment to feel better, then it's no more different than really taking a medication, because you're basically just treating the symptoms to make people feel better. And that's not what we're about. We're about helping the body heal so that you're not dependent on some external, something from outside in to make you feel better all the time.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we know, like, science is kind of caught up. Everybody kind of sees in the world nowadays that, pills, potions, and lotions are just that. They're external. And, we're seeing now science is more and more validating that we were born pre-programmed to be well and heal. So, even in chiropractic, we have that saying, right? The body doesn't really need help. It just needs no interference. And that's the deal, man. It's like, how do we get the body to stabilize and adapt in its environment as best we can?
Well,
So
the cool thing is, in my 30 years, that's never been more apparent now than ever before. I think COVID opened a lot of eyes. I think a lot of people now are looking outside the box. That traditionally, you go and whatever the guy in the long white coat says to do, you do. And now people are starting to question that, which is great, because that's what they should do, right? Just because somebody says do this, and they only have two weapons: medicine, drugs, and surgery.
Yep.
And from my experience in 31 years, I've never had a single patient that their problem was a drug deficiency So taking the drugs never fixed anything, right? Because nobody has a drug deficiency that causes their ailment. And for the most part, nobody has too many body parts. So, surgery isn't usually going to fix anything either. Again, it's like kind of putting a Band-Aid on it.
Well, I teach patients, and you've seen this over the 20 plus years of practice that, people, we're the most drug society in history, right? So like, the United States takes what, 85% of all the medications in the world, and we only make up 4% of the world. So we take more drugs than any other nation, in any other country. We have the worst health status than we're ranked 50 out of, 50, right? So all the people that are following the model of, hey, let's just drug it more, cut it more, it's not helping. We got more sick people than we've ever had. We've got more people on drugs than we ever had, and we're just sicker than we ever have. So like, I think that's what happened in COVID is people started waking up and going, wait a minute, we're sick. Like we're sick. And the model we're using is not sustainable.
Every chronic condition in the world, if you look at the charts, they're all going straight up. They get every year worse by worse by worse. From a business standpoint, for Big Pharma, that's good business, right? As long as they keep you sick, you're on drugs, and, they're making money.
That's right.
If they ever came out with a pill that cured you, believe me, they would squash it because that way they'd go out of business, right? I mean, if they can't sell pills, they're not making money. And it is the biggest industry in the entire world. They control 80% of all marketing dollars spent in the United States. So they're spending a lot of money trying to sell you drugs, and it's worked. Up until now, hopefully things are starting to change. I think RFK Jr. has already come out with some really cool stuff that is going to be eye-opening and possibly, change legislature. So that'll be interesting. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
So now give me an idea, because I know how it's affected my life, but your family, I mean, I always say in my patient orientation class, when I talk to our patients, I tell them, I'm like, you know what, the years that I spent in school and the money I spent to go to school, that alone, if all I ever got out of it was being able to take care of my family, it was worth it. And I know you've experienced the same thing. Chiropractic kids are like they're like the healthiest people on the planet, and upper cervical kids are like, are super immune. They're just, incredible. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the greatest thing I've been able to have in life is the philosophy that, life and health come from above, down, inside out. I think that philosophy is really the key to everything in life, right? So it's an inside out job, and alignment, right? I heard a doctor the other day talk about how alignment's really important to everything in life. If your marriage is in alignment, it works. If your health is in alignment, you get health. If your finances are in alignment. So translating that into my family, initially we were the black sheep 20 years ago, right? Like, oh, they're the weirdos, and it's funny now because now, whether it's a family friend, a parent, a cousin, whatever, we constantly get emails, phone calls, texts. Hey, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? Because you guys are like the healthiest people we know. My kids have never had a drug in their body. My kids have never had a vaccination. They've been adjusted since the moment they came out of the womb. And that is our healthcare. Like my kids are competitive athletes. So my daughter's a high level gymnast, now a competitive cheerleader that, you look at her squad, they're all casted up, they're all mangled up, and her body's just strong. Her health bank account's so good that her body's so in tune, it doesn't really mess up, right? Even in a high level stress. My son playing, top 14 baseball team at 14U in the country, they're all banged up, mangled up, and this and that. And we just live the life of like keeping alignment, keeping health, keep moving. And it's just really paid off. My kids don't get sick. They don't have the allergies. They don't get the flus. They don't have flu season. They don't take the medication. They don't do any of that stuff, right? So, and it's funny because all of their friends do. It's like, oh, Grayson's out of school again this week. He's sick. Great. All these people that live in this model of just piling on the junk as they get sick. My kids don't even know what that is. So yeah, man, it's been really radical for us because I don't know any different. Like, I just don't know any different. Like, our first go-to is not an aspirin. Our first go-to is to make sure our body's working right. And I think, man, that's something that's so valuable that I would never give back at all, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you get the question too. I get this question frequently over the last 30 years. People ask me two questions. First of all, is it really that simple? what we do. And then second of all is how come there's not a line at your front door down the street for days? And
100%.
right, those are the two biggest questions. And the truth is, yes, it's really that simple. Your body's designed to work at 100%. It doesn't need any help, but it just can't have any interference. And the interference is only one place in the body that it really happens, and that's at the top of the neck, the brainstem area. And interference there can affect anything and everything, because every message from your brain to your heart, liver, lungs controls your digestion, your heart rate, your blood pressure, how you sleep, even how the brain works. If there is something out of position there, it can disrupt that normal pattern, which can lead to sickness and disease. And if everyone knew what we did and the value of it, there would be a line down the street. We wouldn't have enough doctors on the planet to take it. So hopefully, things are changing. It's not at the rate I think it should be. I think everybody should know what we do like yesterday, but hopefully, like podcasts like this, my book, hopefully us getting the word out, it's starting to make a difference.
I agree, man. I think, like to piggyback that, I hear two questions in my office all the time. I wish I would have known about this 20 years ago.
Right.
And one of the things I want people to really understand too is you don't have to wait till your body has got a disease to take care of it. Like, my best patients, my favorite testimonies are the babies, because their parents understand that getting their body clear at such a young age, they're ahead of the game, if you will, right? And then the other thing I hear all the time is, how come every chiropractor doesn't do this? And I was like, I don't know. I wish they did. So, but yeah, I think the tides are changing, man. I think we're collectively as a group of clinicians or doctors across the country, the upper cervical doctors have a heart to get this to the world, right? Like, it's just that we don't have the billions and trillions of dollars that drug companies have. Like, we don't have that support, and so could you imagine if we could spend $1 billion a day in advertising for what we do?
It'll be over.
Like a drug company?
Yeah, then we would have that line going down the street forever.
But we would.
Yeah. So it's changing, it's changing. People are looking for it, We get more people coming in from search engines and stuff like that than we've ever had before. So that's good. So the word is getting out, and hopefully people will share this message and we'll be able to help more people. I mean, that's, I think you hit the nail on the head. The upper cervical doctors, this is a lifestyle that we don't do this. This isn't a job. To me, it's never been considered a job. It's like, this is like me. This is what I do. And, I'll probably do it, until I can't do it anymore, however long that is. But, if I couldn't go in and help people, I don't know what I'd do. I'd get bored quick.
That's the other thing that I love about what we do in serving people. I grew up back in the day when doctors were like family members. I don't know if you remember that. Like, your family physician was like, you had them on speed, like they were like your bud, right? Your parents' friends. And I love that about upper cervical doctors, is it's like a family. And you are right. I had a patient the other day. We were talking about, he brought up something like he played the lottery or something. It was like $1.1 billion or something here in Georgia. He's like, man, doc, if you won that, would you retire? And I was like, probably not at all. Like, I don't ever see myself like retiring from upper cervical. Like, it's something in you that you're going to do till you pass on. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I have a good buddy of mine, actually my son's baseball coach. His dad's a chiropractor in Colorado, and his partner just died, 97 years old, still going to the office 3 days a week at 97.
Wow.
And I asked him why. He's like, people need me. He just loved what he did. Could he have retired 30 years earlier? For sure.
Wow, that's cool.
But he loved it, man. He died literally adjusting. Like, he was at the office adjusting. Just of old age, just more out. 97.
That's wild. I hope I can still go on at 97. I hope I can still get in the office at 97. We have a lot of patients that drive themselves to the office, in their 90s that are, still coming. I've had people coming to me right now, still coming to me for 20, 25 years. And, they just come every now and then, kind of get checked to make sure that everything's still working.
Well, we always say, doc, I teach my patients, like, you're not ever going to go probably get your medical checkup every year. You're probably never not going to go to the dentist as long as you got teeth. You're probably never not going to go to your OBGYN. Like, you go get these checkups because it makes sense, and what's the most important thing we got to get checked? And I teach my patients that, like, what makes your whole body work? Your brainstem. So what's the most important thing you can do for your health? Continual checkups. Like, you would do that. It's a lifelong kind of thing, like you would do with any kind of doctor, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's why you have 20 plus years coming to get checked, is because it makes sense that, hey, let's make sure our body's firing on all cylinders, you know?
And people come in with a wide range of conditions, right? It might be a little neck pain, it might be headaches, it might be. I've had people come in and say, "I've got 30 days to live. What can you do?" Right? Regardless, once they get under care, almost everyone gets to a state of health that they've probably never been to before,
Right.
and when they do. It's like, that's the hard part, is the beginning, getting through the initial plan to get to where your body is functioning at 100%. The easy part after that is just maintaining it, just check it every now and then. And that's the easy part. So I think that's why we get a lot of people, a lot of high retention. A lot of people want to, maintain that lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, once you do the hard work to get there, it's like, why go back? And once you feel better, it's like working out, man. Like when you start working out and your body just feels better, why would you give that up? Like, I want to go back to feeling bad again, right? So I think that just makes sense to people that, it's much more fun to be well than it is to be sick.
Yeah. Very rewarding what we do. I mean, actually, I've always told people it's the most rewarding and most frustrating profession on the planet. It's the most rewarding because the lives we change every day I wouldn't trade it for anything. I get up in the morning excited to go into the office to see what's going to come in. But at the same time, I look out the window of my office and I see thousands of people driving by every day that are suffering, that have no idea that there's even help. They're drugged up, not feeling good, not sleeping good, low energy, depressed, anxious, but yet they're right there. They just pull over on the side of the road and just walk in. And I've had that actually happen. I've had people walk into my office before with no appointment, just say, "I have no idea why I'm here, but God sent me here, or I'm supposed to be here. What do y'all do?" It's that crazy.
Yeah, and I think that is frustrating, because I do think people are waking up but they don't know where to go, right? Because like even in the natural healthcare, like you probably see this too, is that people may not be the drug side. I don't want to do any more drugs, but then they'll take $700 a month in like pills, like supplements, and it's like they're chasing that health. And the only thing they need to do is go, "Oh, now if I'm not going to do meds, I'll just do a bunch of vitamins."
Yeah.
And vitamins are important for sure, but it's like that's still not getting to the root cause of why the body's sick, right? So
Right. Absolutely.
people don't know, man. And that's the frustrating part. It's like, I wish we had $1 billion a day to educate and to teach,
No doubt. So hopefully a lot of people are watching this. And so from your perspective, somebody, let's say maybe, because we get everything, right? We have people who've been to general chiropractors and had great results. We've had people who have been to general chiropractors and had no results or bad results. Most people aren't familiar with what we do because there's less than 1,000 upper cervical doctors in the world, actually. So someone watching this that doesn't really know what we do, what advice would you give them? What would you tell them,
If they don't know what we do, I would, number one, go to the websites that are all over the internet that educate, right? And then you contact Dr. Drury, contact me, contact doctor. Yeah, grab the book. Absolutely grab the book. That book is phenomenal because it's very detailed of all the questions a patient that's never heard of this would want to know. I mean, it's every question you have is in there, right? And reach out. And I would say, just ask questions. Do what I did. I went to a doctor and I just got under care and like, let me get checked. Let me learn this thing. You got to know, right? Knowledge is important. And it is simple. So the other thing I would say is don't overthink it. Listen, man, if a patient will ask me, "Hey, doc, can you help with migraines? Can you help with cystic fibrosis? Can you help with autism?" I'm like, you know what? If they got a subluxation at the brainstem and I remove it, your body's only going to work better. There's only it's an upside every time. So for those out there that are searching, I would say, honestly, contact Dr. Drury, get that book, go to his website, order the book. And then people like me, Dr. Drury, will find you a doctor somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we always do. I get people contacting me every day. "Oh, I need a doctor here. I need a doctor there," in other countries. And we're more than happy to try to find a doctor closest to you. One thing that you brought up that's a good point that I tell my patients, and this isn't a fear aspect, okay? But your body never goes like this, okay? You're either healing or you're getting worse, okay? Which you can say you're dying, but your body's getting sicker. You're either getting healthier or sicker. There is no in between. So
right.
when your total nerve system is functioning at 100%, you can only go up. You're only healing, right? But if there's pressure at the brainstem and it's interfering with the nerve system, then what you're doing is you're slowly getting sicker. Maybe you're fast. Who knows? It depends on how severe the misalignment is, right? But your body doesn't stay like this. It never does. You're either up or down. There's no in between. So if you're not living the life that you deserve, right, which is healthy, energetic, good brain function, which is what got me into this work, then you need to find an Upper Cervical doctor near you, and we can help you with that. If you live anywhere near Georgia, definitely reach out to Dr. Tedar. And if anywhere in the Carolinas, holler at me. If you're anywhere else, reach out to us, and we'll find somebody for you.
Absolutely.
How can people get in touch with you, Dr. Tedar? What's the easiest way to find you? Is it website or email or?
Yeah, the easiest way is just my website. I would just go to www.getwellga.com. So getwellgeorgia.com.
Okay.
And you'll find all my information there.
All right. And if you can always comment on the podcast if you need some help or some direction. We'll certainly guide you, or to get in touch with either one of us, we can also get you that way. So any closing remarks, Dr. Tedar? I appreciate you being here. I know you're a busy man, as we've been trying to get this together now for some time, but I'm glad we finally did.
Yeah, man. No, I don't have anything. I just number one, honored to be on this podcast. Anything that we can do collectively to serve and help more people get the care they need and get vitality. Like, knowledge is power. My wife and I went to chiropractic school, didn't even know about this. So, one of the missions I have is the reason we have such a large practice and we do what we do is because I don't want people to suffer like my wife did, especially, again, when you know truth, when you have knowledge, you've got to share it. You've got to go and serve. So 100%. It's an honor to be here because I know what you're doing is amazing. What you're doing is from the heart to serve our country, serve your area. It's not even just your area. It's not just the Carolinas, man. Your heart is worldwide, right? So I'm just an honor to be a part of that, and anything I could do to help people find upper cervical, I'm all about it.
There you go. Yeah, we got to get the word out. I mean, it can't. Too many people need it. I mean, it's the best kept secret in healthcare of all secrets. It is the best. And so find an upper cervical doctor near you. And Dr. Tedar, thank you again for being on the show. And please, if this resonates with you, please share it. Let's get the word out to more people. Collectively, we can all help more people that way. So appreciate you joining, and check out some other podcasts, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.